Hi, my name is John Domingue. I work at the Knowledge Media Institute at the Open University and at STI International. I'd like to talk briefly now about semantics, services and their combination. So let me talk about semantics, or the semantic web. The semantic web is about creating a machine-readable web, in contrast to the current web, which is designed for humans to read. Here we have a web page, which is in Chinese, and unless you can read Chinese, you can't read the web page. So we want to make this web page readable for a machine. So what we can do using semantic web technologies, we can annotate the various parts of the web with labels. We can say this web page, even though you can't read it, is a CV. And it has various parts at the top. It has a name. It has an educational part that talks about work, and a part that talks about private life. Now, because we're on the web, these items are put in angle brackets for the web syntax. But also we should remember that these labels are not understandable to the machine either. The key thing is when a program or an agent comes along, this agent will have concepts and terms embedded. And what we can do is we can say there's a relationship between these terms and the terms that are used in the web page as intended by the original content or web page designer. Let me next talk about the simplest form of representation of semantics on the web, which is RDF, the Resource Description Framework. And I'll explain this with a simple example. Here we have a spreadsheet which describes books. I take the second row. This is a specific book. So each row describes one book. The columns describe the attributes. Here, the second column describes the titles of all the books I have in my database or my spreadsheet. So we can see here in the cell that's highlighted in yellow that this is a book that has the title JavaScript, which is written by an author called David Flanagan. Now, if I map this into RDF, I get the following. I get a book node with a link called title to another node called JavaScript. So this is a book that has a title JavaScript. So RDF is basically at the bottom layer a set of triples. And the triples are subject, property, and value triples. If I go back to the table, we can see that tables or spreadsheets have lots of properties. And in RDF, this creates a graph. So here we have a graph for a book, which has the title JavaScript, has an ISBN number, and an author. This technology, RDF, underpins linked data. And linked data is now being deployed widely in many, many different use cases, both in the public sector and commercially.